Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. The news in War Thunder has been crazy. We've had a bunch of leaks, we've had a bunch of devlogs, and we've had a bunch of other news pieces. And in this video, what I'm going to do is talk about a bunch of the other stuff which has been going on in the background. Because obviously, when it comes to War Thunder, during this period of time, there's just so many different things going on. So see this as kind of all of the small things that have been happening, and also to remind you of when it comes to the weekend and what is going on in terms of you being able to get access to free vehicles and also other stuff like that. So let's get into it, and as always, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe and also like the video. Let's get going. So the first little piece of news, there was an update which came out yesterday, 2.51.0.60, and this just moved around a few little things. First of all, we had for aircraft, the F5E for Germany, there was a bug that caused the radar to be unable to update the data on targets tracked in TWS mode. Now that has been fixed. Obviously this doesn't make a huge difference to the vehicle, but at least this will now help. For naval battles, there was a bug that caused the automatic gunners in arcade battles to fire at distances that exceeded the capabilities of the gun. That is actually something they added more recently, or at least limited that, so it's nice that they've fixed the bugs around it. There was also a bug that caused the guns in arcade battles to stop automatically counting the lead, and that's been fixed too. So they just weren't working if you weren't using them yourself, which, at least for me, I would actually prefer, but, you know, that's not the world we live in anymore in Naval. Naval is much more automated than it was previously. And also in the interface, there was a bug that caused the current scan area limits of the radar to display incorrectly when zooming in on aircraft in third-person view. And that has also been fixed. So nice to see we have some little areas which have been fixed. The next piece of news is for the Twitch drops this weekend. Now remember, they are doing the finals of the WTCS 2025 season, and this means they're giving away a bunch of free stuff on the War Thunder official esports channels. Remember, this is not for all channels, this is only for the War Thunder esports stuff. So, from the 5th of December onwards, basically from the 5th and then the 6th and the 7th, you can get yourself a day of premium, 50% SL booster, 50% research point booster. These are usually for 10 battles, so they're actually pretty good. You can also get yourself a Thunder ammo box player frame, and the big prize, which is the P-51A aircraft. This vehicle hasn't been back in nearly a decade, and it is a pretty cool premium that you can pick up. So go and watch the War Thunder official esports streams. They have them in many different languages and get all of these things around the place. And I think generally it's worth going to see, even if you just want the free stuff, because maybe you'll get interested in the esports stuff, which is why they're doing these things. For me, it's just kind of nice to get free things, and hopefully you guys feel the same. The next piece of news is for the Sea Defender event, the AK-225. They released a devlog for it, and also I thought we would talk about the general worth of this thing and also the grind of it. Obviously, when it comes to the grind, it's one of those things that you're just going to have to kind of get used to in Naval. There's some areas where you can make it easier for yourself. If you want to see kind of my opinions on how to grind this event, I've made a bunch of different videos on them in the past. Just have a look at the old event vehicles. But the best way to grind Naval is to turn off your brain, put on a TV show or put on an audiobook, and then just shoot things, whether it's in coastal or rank 3 destroyers, and you'll have a pretty decent time doing it. You'll get it done, and you'll also learn stuff from whether you're watching the videos or whether you're watching or listening to an audiobook or even a show. Naval is a fantastic secondary mode. This means that you should be doing something else alongside of it to be able to keep your interest in it. They did actually put the history of the AK-225, and I thought we would have a look at it. The gunboat was constructed at the Primorsky shipyard in Leningrad and entered service on the 7th of January 1969. It was a representative of Project 205PE, which was developed as a patrol export version for countries with friendly relations to the USSR. As part of the 41st Missile Boat Brigade on the Black Sea Fleet, this vessel underwent numerous trials, during which the need to strengthen its armament became apparent. On an experimental basis, a new 57mm cannon was installed on the bow of the AK-225 to increase the firepower. After additional trials, however, the results showed that the additional 57mm mount was still insufficient for the tasks the vessel was intended to perform. By the time these trials concluded, the general concept of gunboats in the Soviet fleet had changed, and the naval doctrine had shifted towards other classes of ships. As a result, despite some technical successes, Project 205PE was not approved for mass production. On the 24th of June 1991, the AK-225 was removed from the ship register of the Navy and was scrapped 2 years later in 1993. So this vehicle doesn't have a great history, but in War Thunder, this thing is going to be really annoying as hell to face, and therefore you should actually grind it. One of the things I pointed out when the ship was actually put into the game was the actual gun itself. Its automatic 57mm cannon. I actually thought it was bugged in terms of its fire rate. It turns out the only thing that was bugged about it was the audio. This thing has an insane fire rate for its 57mm, and it doesn't have a first stage, meaning that you can rack off all of the rounds, you just have to worry about overheating. But this thing is just insane. The AK-175 cannon, this experimental one, has a stupid amount of fire rate, and it's just going to be able to rack anything that is around. So it's a full glass cannon. It has very low survivability, but that 57, it has AP and it also has HE, so it will be able to just annihilate whether it's coastal boats or even do a lot of damage to blue water stuff. So in terms of the 4-3 lineup for the Russians, I actually think this is going to be a really good addition because of the gun that's on the front. If you don't have the 4-3 Russian coastal lineup, it is a really powerful lineup, and now they're just adding an even more powerful vehicle, which is a unique one, meaning that there probably won't be another one of these added because of this experimental 57 only being mounted on the AK-225 in this form. So when in terms of value, this coastal vehicle is shot up. I actually think since not a ton of people are going to grind this thing, but also it is quite powerful, I think this will actually be quite pricey at the end of the day on the market. Maybe even 20 to 30 to start with, and then rising to quite a large amount over time, because this will be great for grinding out other events in the future. Being at rank 5, it gets the highest bonuses, and also if it's able to put down that firepower in a big way, it's going to be really, really good. So I would honestly say this is worth grinding, even if you're just looking to sell it. Some people have been asking me when I think the dev server is going to be, the sneak peeks and all of that stuff, and to be quite honest, when we have a look at the timeline, Gaijin will want to get this update out before Christmas, especially since they like doing the winter events and also the sales before Christmas too. That gives them basically a 2-week period of being able to get it out. So it's either going to be this weekend or it's going to be next weekend. With the variety and also volatility of a lot of the dev blogs that we've seen already, so we've seen some updates to maps, the hangars, and also a bunch of dev blogs which have a look at a bunch of vehicles, even released on a Monday, which is very surprising. Usually they don't release stuff on Mondays or Saturdays, but we ended up getting that. To me, that would signal we're probably going to get the teaser today, and then also the sneak peek tomorrow, plus the dev server. So look forward to that this weekend, and I'll make sure to cover it all for you, just like we always do with these general things. So if it isn't this weekend, it will be next weekend, and it would be nice if it wasn't this weekend, because Gates of Hell just released a new DLC, and I've been playing it, and it's been really fun. The Commonwealth DLC, adding 2 new campaigns, not just for Britain, but also for the Commonwealth nations and Germany against the Commonwealth too. It's been fantastic. And next weekend, we have the Dawnless Days mod coming out, which is the Lord of the Rings mod for Attila Total War. The campaign is finally coming, and it's something I've been looking forward to for ages, and it looks like War Thunder is just gonna hammer down and get in the way of that. So as always, when it comes to War Thunder, that's just how it goes. This game has so many things going on, and this period is no different. So look forward to either this week or next week there being a lot of dev server stuff. And as I said, come along to the streams, we'll cover them all, and you will get all the videos on it at the same time. As always, thank you for watching the videos. It is a pleasure making them, and it is a pleasure interacting with you. I will see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecovo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shea, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.